It's now been a while that I've been stuck in the basement, trying to understand Isaac, the items in the game, all these books even. And I recently came across a book of my own in my house. The Dream Interpretation book by Sigmund Freud. For those who don't know, Sigmund Freud is considered the father of psychoanalysis. One of the biggest names in psychology ever, although some of his theories have been disproven, and he wrote a book about the interpretation of dreams. I've been having lucid dreams for a while now, but I already know the meanings of what they represent to me. But then I thought, wait, Isaac dreams too whenever he goes from one stage to another, right? Wouldn't it just be the funniest thing to give a somewhat serious analysis to the nightmare of a 5-year-old inside of a 2D video game? Now that might sound super silly, but if you're familiar with the Isaac lore, you'll know that this child is anything but perfect. And he also has a lot to hide under that skin. From past traumas to a bad relationship with religion, even a hidden love for Dungeons and Dragons. So if he's actually more human than we believe, couldn't we analyze his dreams to find out more about his situation? And the answer is, yes we can! Because see, even though his dreams may not be realistic or far from reality, they still reflect what his subconscious believes. Dreams started being studied and interpreted about 5,000 years ago by the Babylonians and even earlier by the Sumerians. This means that they were interpreted even before the ascent of Jesus and the arrival of Christianity, which as we know are part of Isaac's traumas due to his mom's behavior. So we can officially say we are analyzing something older than anything inside of the Isaac lore. Studies from the late 60s show that the most common emotions experienced in dreams were predominantly negative, featuring anxiety, abandonment, anger and fear. Do you recognize anybody in these little emotions? Well yeah, of course, because all of them, not one excluded, are in Isaac's dreams. So much so that the game directly addresses them as nightmares inside of the game files instead of dreams. So let's close our eyes and jump in the dream world to find out about Isaac's true meaning and impact behind those harmless cutscenes. In the game files, there are 18 total Isaac nightmares. These include the Dogma one, but do not include the dreams, in which he sees, thanks to the dream catcher, what item he's gonna get and what bosses he's gonna fight. I don't know you, but I'm quite hyped to understand what they mean to us, not the game, us. So let's start with the first. Here we see Isaac trapped in the chest. This is no joke the first nightmare, but it's not really a nightmare. This is Isaac. If we go back to my last lore video, you'll have known by now that Isaac canonically dies in the chest. This is merely him imagining what just happened and the situation he is in. So while it's classified as a nightmare, our very first example isn't even one. This is just him reliving his last moments. So let's start with nightmare number 2. As you can clearly see, Isaac is dreaming not only about feces, but being defecated on, which is, pretty humiliating. Feces themselves represent the feeling of shame or disgust. But this is not just feces, see? This is feces in an external context, a social context, which is usually related to how others perceive you or something you've done. Isaac is clearly very impacted by this, as we'll see later that he dreams about being bullied constantly and is bullied at home by his mother by not being allowed to do anything other than stand in his room with no toys or anything else. This is also hey. This is then followed up in the next dream, literally with the same theme, where Isaac opens up a poop gift. This, outside of the psychological meaning that we've spoken about right now, is also reference to the game item Mystery Gift, which sometimes can give you a poop. Moving off of the feces train, now we have something that is more normal. But besides that, something that I believe to be so much more common, to the point that I think everybody, or at least me myself, I've had plenty of dreams of this as a kid. In nightmare number 4, we see Isaac trying to give a flower to a girl that he probably likes, only for his pants to fail him at the very last moment. Although we have evolved as a society and we no longer see clothes this way, they originally were made to protect us. Thus, the dream of losing your clothes is actually representing of feeling vulnerable. Not only does Isaac feel vulnerable with his body here, but he's also feeling vulnerable in front of his crush, or what we can assume to be the girl of his liking, which also adds a level of exposure to feelings and to a soft side that you wouldn't want other people to see, especially when you're shy or insecure. After the first 4 nightmares, we already have some words to etiquette Isaac, some adjectives that represent his feelings. But let's see what we have next. Because in nightmare number 5, we actually have something that is directly related to the game that you get from the very beginning, but that of course not everybody reflects on. In this nightmare you can see Isaac getting kicked in the face by a ball and a kid laughing at him, but it's not just about what you visualize, what you see visually, it's about what it means. The kid is standing and Isaac is just sitting there. This is clear indication of a power imbalance. What do I mean by this? I mean, Isaac is feeling literally powerless. He doesn't even try to get up, he just stands there broken. Does it remind you of anything? A power imbalance between 2 figures in this game that is seen anywhere else? Because to me, that looks exactly like Isaac and his mum. A mum that of course as an adult is able to do whatever she wants, and Isaac being left broken, sitting in a corner or inside a wardrobe. In dream number 6, we see Isaac receiving a wig as a gift, and being very proud and showing it, although whenever he puts it on, he sees other people laughing at him. This is not only Isaac's first expression of gender fluidity, but also a showcase of his fear for being judged about his true self or something he wants to be. Let's take a parenthesis for the wig though, because this, in the item's name, is Mum's wig, and although it looks different in the dreams, it is the same one that Maggie has, and Maggie is Isaac dressed as Magdalene, Magdalene being his mum. So at all effects, he's trying to be like her. Don't really know what that means, so if you have a clue, write it in the comments below. And with this we're also gonna include Dream 11, because it's the same, but with a dress instead of a wig. Up next, by far the scariest nightmare of them all, one that every human on this planet has imagined or lived at least once. Going to the toilet, taking the biggest dump of your lifetime, and only after realizing that there is no toilet paper. You can tell me what you want, but no feeling in this universe ever comes close to this fear. And for what it means, there isn't really much to discuss, but maybe an Easter egg is connected to this, where if your health is below 1 HP, so half a heart, Isaac actually leaves a droplet of pee on the ground whenever he enters a room. Following up with nightmare number 8, we see Isaac falling, and falling, and falling, until he splashes. While it may seem weird, this is one of the most common dreams in one's childhood, to the point that even I had it, at least once a week. Falling to your death typically means loss of control or self-control, so not being able to shape what's around you to your liking. I don't really know what this says about one's person, but I'm alive and well right now, so I guess I got that going on. Now number 9 is gonna be a fast entry, it's just Isaac being kicked by his mum. This isn't much of a nightmare, this is just what happens to him, it's reality. While the next goes straight into fiction, because it isn't really fiction, but it is mum losing her mind, hearing voices from above. And in this dream particularly, we see an addition to the lore where it's revealed that the voice from above is the Lost? Canonically speaking, the Lost is Isaac's soul after he dies, and Mum hears the voices from above before he dies, so it's not possible, giving us the very first plot hole in Isaac. Because as we've seen in the last video, the one speaking to Mum, canonically, is actually Dogma, so this as a dream doesn't really make sense. What makes more sense is the next dream where we see Isaac's genitals falling off. It may seem weird, but for thousands of years the genitals have been represented as the strongest part and most powerful part of the human body. That is because they have the power to reproduce, to create life. Thus losing it also means subconsciously the loss of power. Loss of power which is also present in the next dream where he's on the toilet again, but this time it's not the toilet paper missing that is the problem, it's the fact that he's exposed by other people. And reconnecting to a couple of nightmares that we've seen before, exposure seems to be one of the main themes, leading to think that although Isaac is 5 years old, he's never adapted to the world and never got into a position to make friends. And that might be because, as we'll see in Nightmare 15, Isaac's mom never really catered towards him being happy, even destroying his toys, so it makes sense that he has struggles. This is also canonically relevant to the start of the game, where we see Mom taking away all of his toys, or even more with an obscure cutscene from The Legends of Bumbo, where we see Mom being mad at Isaac for keeping the toys his dad made him.
But Bumbo hears something mean, something huge, something!
Isaac.
If you didn't know about this cutscene, go watch the other video, this deserves some recognition. Second last dream, and what a weird one. Here Isaac sees a cloud flipping him off, which is just one more telltale sign from the universe that, man, you shouldn't have been alive in the first place. But of course we know that's not true, because despite every hardship, Isaac, as a lonely 5 years old, managed to defeat his mom while she was attempting to murder him. And him surviving leads us to the very last nightmare, nightmare number 17, where we see Isaac dreaming of himself. Dreaming of himself, dreaming of himself. A little bit of an inception. And if you haven't had this dream already, it may seem absurd, but it's actually real. People do dream of this, and it's scary. Because when you're inside of this dream, you're overwhelmed with the feeling of being unable to escape. You're locked in a reality that you cannot even control. And whether you're a control freak or not, I think this scares you regardless. Because nobody wants to be truly powerless in a similar reality. Leading us to the ending, where we can finally analyze Isaac for what he truly is and how he truly feels. An anxious 5-year-old stuck in a world that he doesn't like and that doesn't appreciate him back. Confirming the theory that we put out in the lore video, where Isaac just really got the worst of all scenarios. If you watched this till the end, I really appreciate you. Make sure to like and subscribe and give me ideas on what you'd like to see next. I'm currently planning on making a lore video, No I'm Not Human, but if you have other ideas, make sure to drop them below. This said, I wish you a good rest of the day, and if it's night, good dreams. You'll need them. Nameless out.